Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining the Coffee Cup Solutions Windows Virtual Desktop and Citrix Better Together webinar. I'm Nick Lovell. I'm the Business Development Manager here at Coffee Cup Solutions, and over the course of the next 10-15 minutes or so, I'll be taking a look at the recent Windows Virtual Desktop announcements and what makes them so interesting. We'll take a quick look at WVD licensing, run through an example scenario that we've costed out, and finally look at what this means for Citrix and how the two technologies not only integrate but also complement one another. Before we kick off, I wanted to give a very quick overview of Coffee Cup Solutions, as some of us haven't actually spoken before. So we are a cloud and virtualization solution specialist. We have a wealth of experience working with large corporates to deliver secure digital workspaces, hybrid infrastructure and resilient network solutions. As a solutions partner for both Microsoft and Citrix, we're able to talk with real-world experience of both technologies and take a top-down view of the overarching solution. So first off, let's have a look at the landscape as it is today and what was recently announced by Microsoft. Back in March, Microsoft finally made an announcement about the greatly anticipated Windows Virtual Desktop, or WVD. At its core, WVD is a virtual desktop infrastructure service hosted from Microsoft Azure data centers. It enables organizations to deliver Windows 7 and Windows 10 virtual desktops, both on premises or in the cloud. It also provides application virtualization support for remote access to Office 365 Pro Plus and other apps. Although nothing has yet been officially announced, it's widely believed that WVD will be made generally available to the public at the start of the new Microsoft financial year in July. Everything that we talk about today and that has been announced so far is currently in public preview. To gain access to this, please do get in touch. My details are going to follow at the end. Now, touching briefly on the architecture, Microsoft hosts and manage the central infrastructure, allowing client devices to access desktops and applications within that resource instance. Customers can then choose whether or not they manage the existing desktop, application, Active Directory and file servers themselves, or alternatively, they can be managed by us at Coffee Cup Solutions as part of a wider managed service. One of the key features of WVD is multi-session Windows 10. The first time we've actually seen multiple users on a single Windows 10 virtual machine. Now, the key benefit of this has been fairly well documented. By increasing user density on each host, we reduce the resource requirements and ultimately save money on Azure consumption. Similarly, as all users are sharing a single platform, we reduce the possibility of any potential app compatibility issues. Furthermore, in November of 2018, Microsoft acquired FSLogix. FSLogix is a next-generation application provisioning platform in the virtualization world. By leveraging this technology, Microsoft can now provide a roaming persistent user container that is available for users on any Windows Virtual Desktop device. The inclusion of the FSLogix suite is interesting, and there's a number of areas where it can be utilized within a VDI state. Firstly, we can now provide persistent outlet cache and search, OneDrive sync roaming, Skype for Business global address lists, and MS Teams for users across non-persistent desktops. 2. FSLogix Profile Container is available for users on any Windows Virtual Desktop device, which can massively decrease logon times and improve in-session performance. Whilst app containers can allow for huge reductions in the number of virtual desktop images by simplifying application deployment and control. Thirdly, we can accurately ensure license compliance for all users and applications with app masking, as well as provide Java redirection and version control. Finally, Cloud Cache enables offline profile container access for virtual and physical desktops and easy profile replication for DR or active-active deployments. Now, in my opinion, the FSLogix acquisition and subsequent functionality that can now be rolled into WVD is what makes this whole proposition so compelling. My colleague Stuart Carroll has recently written a blog post that goes into some greater detail about FSLogix, so as part of the follow-up of today, I'll share that with you all. So now we've gone through at a high level what's been announced, let's take a look at the crux of it and what this actually means and how it's going to benefit you. Now, the benefits of cloud computing as a concept have been widely discussed for a while, and the benefits of Windows Virtual Desktop are, for the most part, going to be in line with these. By handing over the infrastructure layer to Microsoft, there is the obvious advantage of no longer needing to manage and maintain the infrastructure layer on which your virtual desktops are deployed. This then reduces the cost of time and cost in pounds and pence of building and maintaining a resilient and scalable virtual desktop infrastructure. For many, the perceived cost of VDI has always proven to be too high to be viable. By reducing this initial infrastructure outlay cost, as well as facilitating flexible monthly billing, it lowers the barriers to deploying virtual desktops and can accelerate organizations' cloud adoption. Finally, a lesser known feature of WVD that I've rarely seen mentioned or highlighted is extended support for Windows 7 desktops in Azure. With Windows 7 reaching its end of extended support milestone early next year, users who migrate their Windows 7 desktops into Azure through WVD can take advantage of extended security for 3 years beyond its end of life. Now, I apologise in advance for this next slide being a little wordy. Like most, I struggle to make Microsoft licensing look sexy. So the licensing announcements so far have indicated that customers will have access to Windows 10 Enterprise and Windows 7 Enterprise desktops and apps as long as they have an eligible Windows or Microsoft 365 licensing agreement. M365, E3, E5, A3, A5 and F1 business agreements. Customers will be able to access Windows Server remote desktop services powered desktops and apps if they are an eligible Microsoft Remote Desktop Services (RDS) CAL customer. In all cases, you'll need an Azure account to deploy and manage your virtualization environment. As previously mentioned, you'll also gain free extended security updates until January 2023 for your Windows 7 virtual desktop, offering even more option to support legacy apps while you transition to Windows 10. Now, based on some of the very early feedback that we received and speaking with a number of my clients, I was keen to share some very high level costs. Now, please be aware, these are purely indicative. This is an indicative example based on 100 users. It's a 3-year reserved instance commitment and it's based out of the US region, as that's the only one we have visibility of at the moment. There are 4 options split into the level of resource that's required. Now, hopefully you can see there are numerous VM and storage options to choose from to match your specific use cases, with the costs then managed by utilizing the Azure scaling tools. These tools ensure virtual machines are turned off and turned on as needed, meaning you can then only pay for the virtual machines and storage consumed when your users are actually utilizing the service. Coffee Cup Solutions can then aid in the design by correctly profiling your users and enabling you to deliver a right-sized environment for all. Now, I know there have been some questions from some clients of mine who are keen to understand where some of the existing VDI vendors sit into this, and specifically from my perspective, Citrix. With Citrix long being the market leader for application and desktop delivery solutions, they are perfectly placed to deliver a true end-to-end virtual application and desktop delivery service. Citrix HDX technology allows administrators to deliver high-end user experiences for all users across not only Windows virtual apps and desktop workloads, but mobile, SaaS and Linux applications and desktops as well. When utilizing HDX optimization for Microsoft Teams, customers will get a fully native, fully featured Microsoft Teams experience within Citrix virtual apps and desktops. And Citrix Machine Creation Service and Provisioning Services can reduce management and resource overheads by massively simplifying image management, application deployment, and ensure a consistent user experience for all. Finally, Citrix Analytics then collects data across all areas and generates actionable insights, enabling administrators to proactively handle user and application security threats, improve application performance, and support continuous operations simultaneously. Ultimately, Citrix embrace choice, and you can not only deliver desktop and applications to users on any device, anywhere, anytime, but you can host and dynamically scale your virtual desktop workloads in any public and/or private cloud, including Azure. Built upon their long-standing partnership with Microsoft, Citrix SD-WAN is designed to integrate with the cloud to optimize bandwidth utilization and intelligently steer traffic to the best application experience. Citrix offers an on-demand, people-centric approach to security, with Citrix Workspace allowing you to deliver contextual access to users based not only on who they are, but other factors such as where they are and the attributes of the device they're using and when they require access. Citrix deliver all of this not only for Windows apps and desktops, but also for all mobile, SaaS and Linux apps and desktops too. Now, while WVD is perfectly placed to deliver virtual desktops for many customers, there are going to be instances where Citrix Cloud Services can be deployed to enhance user experience, strengthen security and simplify management. Ahead of the release of Windows 10 multi-session operating system, which is included as part of Windows Virtual Desktop, Citrix have already announced that they'll be providing full day one support. Citrix Cloud also offers full cloud management of Windows Virtual Desktop workloads hosted in Azure alongside existing on-prem or hybrid cloud VDI deployments. Citrix Virtual App and Desktop Service brings Windows Virtual Desktop to the enterprise through centralized image management, application layering, advanced analytics and more. Microsoft has optimized Windows 10 multi-session for Office 365 Pro Plus virtualization. Citrix then takes this even further with Microsoft Teams and Skype enhancements for the best experience regardless of the end user location. Now, as virtual application and desktop delivery specialists, we have an extensive experience of not only designing, deploying, but also managing and supporting virtual application and desktops for our client users. If you're interested in any more detailed conversation around currently assessing app and desktop delivery methods, or are interested in gaining access to the WVD public preview, please do get in touch. Now that's us very nearly done. I'd like to thank you all for watching today's webinar. The level of interest already has certainly showed there is an appetite for WVD. Hopefully you found it to be informative, though obviously if you do have any questions about anything covered, please do reach out. And with that, I'm going to draw to a close. Thanks again for listening. Goodbye.